he has spoken before about how he really wants to represent and play for the country of his mother. So he's Japanese American. He's from California. He went to the University of Southern California. So he has had an American childhood and went through the American system, but is very proud of his Japanese heritage and has talked about really wanting to do this. So I think it's a wonderful story for this sport. I think it's a great story for Team Japan. I think Lars can bring an element to their team that maybe they didn't already have. He's a very good defensive outfielder. He can hit for power. He can even run the bases very well too. So I think it's a great story. I'm happy for Lars that he's playing for Team Japan, and I think he's going to make a really big impact on Team Japan in this tournament. It's different depending on the country, but if your parent is born in that country, then you are eligible to play for that country. And you even see his name on the screen, Lars Taylor Tatsuji Nutbar. So he has a Japanese middle name. It speaks to how powerful this tournament is, in that it is not always where you live that you have a team that you're connected to. For example, Manny Machado grew up in Miami, but he plays for the Dominican Republic. There are players who have lived in the USA who play for Italy. That is it's part of what makes this world special, and it's part of the nature of the diversity in the United States. We have a lot of different communities represented here, and you get a chance to see Americans playing for different teams because of our shared and common cultural heritage. So I think it's a really special part of this tournament that I really enjoy. I really admire his approach at the plate. I think that he is very quick to the baseball. He does not have wasted movement. He is direct to the ball with power. And of course, he sets the record for the most home runs ever by a Japanese-born player in MPB, breaking the record of the great Sadaharu Oh. And I understand what a journey that was, how difficult that was for him, the challenges, especially at the end of the season. And so I think that the pressure he felt to break that record was even greater than the pressure he will feel to compete in this tournament, because those moments of the home run chase were all about Murakami. And now it is about the team. And I think it's easier to think and play baseball in a team concept than by putting all the pressure on himself. And that to me is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. And I think it's actually going to be a very great advantage to Murakami. Amazing story. It makes the story even better. And certainly we hope one day he will come to Major League Baseball. But I think it's important to realize that last year, Aaron Judge was not the only person chasing a record, that the home run chase was around the clock, around the world. And I also think that as you both know, that in Tokyo, we know of the great history of the Giants and how that is the team that is most famous in Tokyo. But for the Swallows to have the player who was most followed in Japan was very important for the franchise. And I thought that was a really unique moment in the history of the Yakult Swallows, and to see all the umbrellas in the stands. I know well that tradition. It's just a very special franchise in an amazing city. And I was so blessed to have gone to Tokyo during the Premier 12 4 years ago and to experience that and to now understand why Murakami is so special. I think that I really am grateful that I had a chance to watch that in person. I think that the Boston Red Sox clearly saw something in Yoshida-san that they felt very strongly about. He got more money than I thought he would. But I think when you look at his approach, his knowledge of the strike zone, his ability to hit for power, All of those things are there that I think will make him a very effective player, especially at Fenway Park. We're seeing in this video, he pulls the ball a lot, but I think that his ability to hit the ball to left field will be very important because of Fenway Park. I also think that it was really interesting to hear my friend Chris Young say that Adam Jones, who played with him in Oryx, has acknowledged and compared Masataka Yoshida to the comparison of the really interesting player of Juan Soto in Major League Baseball. And I think it is very interesting, Masa, that we saw that he was wearing the jersey name of Harper on his back. And of course, he was wearing number 7, which is the total of 3 and 4 that Bryce wears. I wonder, can you share with me what celebration was happening that allowed him to wear the name Harper on his jersey? I'm going to have to ask you about that because that's a very interesting story. Please let me know once we find that answer. I see a very powerful bat that I think is a good complement as the right-hander. Of course, he plays for Cebu. To me, he reminds me, remember back to the previous classic, Sho Nakata. He reminds me a little bit of Sho Nakata to play first base. And I think that's the type of player we're talking about. And I'll be curious to see where Kuriyama-san has him both in the lineup and also in the batting order. But you can tell for him, he is a very, very important player for the Cebu Lions. If in this case, if Japan were to play in the quarterfinals or semifinals against a team like Mexico or the USA, and if Mexico starts Julio Urias or the USA starts Kershaw or Nestor Cortez, then I would expect he will certainly be in the lineup.